Okay, so of course, in our last debate, we were talking about the next generation and their approach to insurance. And now we have some of the people who were part of the lab with InsurVision, held in collaboration with the European Parliament, the Innovation Lab, who tried to explore, what really, the ways in which your sector can better serve and engage with the next generation. The idea, if I believe it correctly, guys, was to build a catalogue of ideas aimed at making insurance more accessible and more relevant to you, and of course, engaging all of you as well. So Thea, of course, will be here we'll get her thoughts as well. But first of all, if you could go down the line and all of you just introduce yourselves and tell us who you are and how did your day go? Go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie. I am from Cyprus, and the day went quite well. And
what's your one takeaway?
Yes, my one takeaway is that young people want the insurance industry to grow in two pillars. One, transparency when it comes to where the money that insurers have goes, in the sense that where it is invested, but also communication. A bit before, I've heard the topic on TikTok, and we did have some conversations on that yes, it is a platform which engages a lot with the youth, but it's not the platform which insurance companies should be focusing on, in the sense that yes, it is engaging with the youth, but the youth wants more hands-on experience with the insurance industry. For example, fairs, what we did here with the European Youth Parliament and you guys, we want our voice to be heard more hands-on rather than having influencers speak for us. Yes.
Interesting, because Zhao was just on, I think he's still here. Yeah, and he was saying it's okay to do TikToks. That's quite interesting. Okay, we'll keep going down the line, so please introduce yourself.
Well, maybe I don't have the mic, so maybe you can answer.
Let me grab a microphone. Here we go. It's okay. No, don't worry, we will not miss you. There you go.
Thank you. So my name is Marco Di Stefano. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Sicily, Italy. So today was an amazing day where I really got into contact with what the insurance world is and what the insurance world means to the youth. And really, are us as a young people, young change makers, just have to, embrace insurance, because insurance really should have a larger part in our lives. So I'm extremely grateful to Insurance Europe and the European Youth Parliament because it gave me this chance to engage with insurance and confront with people from all around Europe. So
let me just ask you a follow-up, if it's okay.
Sure.
So one of the things that was spoken about in our last panel, they spoke about maybe educating people from such a young age, the kindergarten. Is that something that perhaps you think is a good idea? That we educate people, basically so young, yeah.
Yes, sure. I think that educating people from a young age, starting from kindergarten, also with with financial education, is crucial. Because young adults often don't have that financial literacy. They are not educated on that. So if we start to educate them from the kindergarten, from the elementary school, we will have more formed adults in the future. And we will then have a more formed and a better world. Thank you.
Well said, thank you so much. And over to you. No, you've got a mic, yeah.
I have a mic.
Yeah,
Hello,
okay.
everybody. My name
yours.
is Dan Victor. It is a privilege to be here. I am 17 years old and currently studying in Romania. Speaking about how my day went, I would say that it was more than fruitful. We've demonstrated again that in a room full of people with very contrasting socio-political ideologies and different economical perspectives and different backgrounds, we've again given a demonstration of democracy, and we've again proved that the voices of the youth are just as important as the adults, and we are more than proud to be here. and to have concluded a big list of things that we would like to see from the insurance industry, and are thankful for all of you insurance experts to be here to listen to us. First of all, we would like to bring attention on the transparency aspect and acting not for profit and being held accountable for each and every controversy happening. We wish for a less bureaucratic and formal process in buying insurance and receiving it. And further, we would like companies to be much present on social media, just as our colleague Jao said. I loved his point. And be much more specific when defining their policies and their underwriting. Next point, human contact, not AI. We would really appreciate to go back to the old traditions of speaking face-to-face and meeting people and getting even my own personal insurance assistant as a person. Further, we want a much concrete evidence of the sustainable use of our premiums and our payments and our contribution to the insurance industry, after all. And last but not least, we wish for a more flexible insurance plan, choose for what we want to pay and do not.
So you'd like to have more of a personal approach, goodbye to the bots.
Yes,
Yeah?
we would all like to have a much more personal approach, not only with my team, but with all of the people that have been in the lab before. We've encompassed all of our askings and requests on this single piece of paper. We've tried to make it as short as possible and as concrete as possible. And
No, you should make it longer and longer and longer. hey. Yeah, please go ahead. No, I'm joking. Okay, we'll go down the line so I can see your paper. So your asks as well for the politicians and the policymakers and the insurance people in the room. What's your asks?
So our goal is that we hope that today you will listen and clearly hear our call, actually, so that we will challenge you with our new ideas. We hope for a more honest conversation, because trust is hard to build without transparency. The key points of our call are education from the start, as we were saying, transparency at all levels, outreach with diversity, open dialogue with everyone, customer service that is human. Because we hope that we won't just protect, but we will build our life together. Thank you.
Okay. Your asks.
Okay, so my group, which the rest of our people voted on, is that we expect insurance companies to adapt and keep adapting to the ongoing generational changes. These include technological developments, but also climate change. And meeting and listening to the needs of young people actively, like we did today. Also, they should use their power to ensure a responsible, sustainable future, again on the topic of climate change, but also in communication with the youth. We further hope that insurance companies remain transparent about their policies, procedures, and investments. We need to see clearly where investments go and why they go there. I really cannot stress this more. It was the topic which was discussed and debated the most during the lab, and it is a big call from the youth that you guys need to be transparent. Moreover, we expect the industry to balance the use of technological advancements with providing a consistent personal communication structure, in the sense that the topic of AI was brought up. A lot of people said that, yes, they do like to use online platforms for maybe selecting an insurance, but often we see chatbots and not real people that we can communicate with. Even online calls would be a good opportunity, just more personal communication. That's what we want.
That's brilliant. And just to say for everyone, obviously the audience, these are your top 4 answers or asks, if I'm correct, yeah? So guys, you've heard them, but you can also read it as well, because I think, both mediums are really important to really let it soak into your brains. I just wanted to ask you, all three of you, personally then, why do you have a particular interest in insurance? Why is it that you wanted to take part today? Want to go first? Yeah?
Yes, I can answer.
Yeah?
Thank you. So I really, really admire and I'm so interested in how the insurance business model works, first of all, because I'm really interested in economics. Then I'd really evaluate how insurance affect life of people and could actually save life. Because when we all know how insurance could actually affect like a family where only one of, the parents could be working. And what if that parent dies? What happens to the poor child that might be left without anything? So during the workshops, we were shown how important is insurance. And I just reinforced my ideas. So I really believe that insurance is like fundamental for our lives, for everyone's life. This.
Brilliantly
Thank
said.
you.
Would you like anyone else like to add in, or you guys are okay? I don't want to bombard you guys with questions, so I can see your faces. Like, oh no, please, woman, shut up. Okay. I'm just joking, but honestly, I appreciate the fact that the three of you are on this stage. It takes a lot of guts and courage. So everyone, please give them a round of applause. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so what have you made, Thea, of what you've heard from them and what has been sort of uncovered through this innovation lab? What for you are your sort of takeaways?
So for me, first off, thank you. Thank you for doing this exercise with us. And to all of you who are sitting out there on the white chairs, who were doing that exercise over there while the rest of us were talking in this space, thank you very much. Because having this dialogue was one of the key things that we wanted to do today, that we had that direct interaction. And I'm actually quite happy with the things that you're saying and the things that you're suggesting. I agree with you. Let's make the list really long. Because I think this is exactly what we've been talking about at this, especially at the last panel, which I found incredibly enlightening, is that we do need to communicate with our consumers and with our future consumers in a way where, know your audience. Know your audience and speak in a way that your audience expects you to speak, explain things that are complex, but in a simple way. We are sometimes, as insurers, caught between a rock and a hard place, because legislation requires us to tick a lot of boxes. And the team that has been working on the retail investment strategy can talk a lot about that while being extremely well-intentioned, what we end up doing with a lot of this legislation is that it becomes an information overload. So by having to run through 3.5 hours of me talking at you, I'm pretty sure that eventually your brains are going to go beep, but also eventually you're going to go, this woman's trying to scam me. She's been talking at me for 3.5 hours. What is it she's trying to hide between all these words? And those are some of the challenges that we're facing when we have regulatory requirements that require us to give an enormous amount of information. And we see that even in what is called the key information document, is that is supposed to be a document that gives you an easy access, a snapshot. And even that document is sometimes unreadable. And it's not because of ill will from the industry or the insurers, but they have to do some certain things. So I think that call goes very much also with what we've been calling for in the last many, many months and years when it comes to some of the things that are under the retail investment strategy, is that we want to have a good consumer journey. We want to have clear information. We want to give you good guidance. I hate the AI bots too. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that.
I think everyone hates them. It doesn't matter what sector you're in. You're trying to find some information and they're limited. So
yeah, but it's also a matter of we need to use technology smartly, of course. We need to use platforms. We need to use social media. We need to make sure that financial literacy and the way that we communicate reaches you where you are. So you're not going to go into an office and get that information first. We might actually have to diversify our communications channels a little bit more. So I think all of these things, I think the first point for me, it hits home a lot of what I've been doing the last 6 months, and a lot of the retrospective reflection we've been doing as an industry is that we need to get better at explaining here in Brussels with the policymakers, but also globally, what is it that insurance actually does? What do we do? What do we do for you? What do we do for the city? What do we do for your house, your car, your life? And I jokingly said when the guys were here to visit us at Insurance Europe, when I very recently started, that insurance is supposed to be your guardian angel that you don't see, and it picks you up if something happens. But if we can't communicate that in a way that you guys understand it, you're not going to take out the insurance, bad stuff is going to happen, and we're not there to catch you. So I think having that aim of help, having that we will take away the risk, we need to get better at also reaching you with that. I like the part about the transparency. I think there's a lot of transparency around what insurers are doing, but I think maybe we're back at that point where there are things that we can maybe investigate, and is there something that we can do more in that space? And then the financial barriers, we've talked about, so we will call it insurability or affordability, but I think there are definitely places where we need to look at, because an insurer's fundamental model is we look at what the risk is, we look at what it's going to cost, and we will give you that price. But if that is not clear, why are we quoting you that price? This is also one of the places where if you look at something like driving, if you are a terrible driver,
Sorry.
okay, guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged.
So let's say that I'm a really good driver. I'm not, but let's just for the sake of and we are basically pooling our risks in the same place. If you are quoted the same price as me and I never have an accident, you have one every week, I'm not going to want to lean into that collective system. And we need to preserve that collective system. So that means that the premiums that we're quoting people is also about fairness. But if you had a little thingy in your car that would help you drive smarter, drive better, some data that would mean that we would give you a call and say, Mariam, I think we need to talk about red lights. Then maybe that data that you then give us to give you a better experience, but also better price, and hopefully less dings in your car. So all of a sudden, we're able to, you said, live your life together with us. I think some of those experiences is something that we're looking at now. And there are some challenges with getting that data, of course. But I think that's where, Frederic said it in the beginning, data is the fuel of the insurance. Yes, but it's also the fuel for us to give you a good service and give you a good experience. I cannot advise you without knowing what you're doing. I can tell you that my insurance company is very interested in the fact that I kite surf, because it ticks up my premium because the risk is quite high compared to if I was a gardener, right? So those kind of things, if we cannot have that conversation in one way or the other, we're going to give you a bad price because we're going to give you a generic product and a generic price. And so those kind of things, that transparency, that communication, I really enjoy hearing that from you guys. And I've also really enjoyed, I've had the chance to be with you guys when you were doing your conversations at The Hague. I think if there's one call I can give to everybody in this room, go in on the European Youth Parliament's website, look at their recommendations, not just the one on pensions, which is phenomenal, by the way, but look at all the recommendations these guys are doing, because I have to admit, I'm sorry, but if I was this smart at their age, I would have made it very, very far already. So these guys are coming up with some brilliant things that we can all get inspired by. And being young only means that you haven't gotten cynical yet. And you're still seeing opportunities where the rest of us are going, tried that, didn't work. So please continue doing that, and please continue inputting. And our partnership with the European Youth Parliament is one of the most important things that I think we're doing at the moment at Insurance Europe.
Well, I think for all of us oldies, continuous learning is really important. But listen, guys, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the stage. So round of applause then, please, because they are brilliant. It takes a lot of courage to be up here.